Hey chess folks, this is the second video. In the first video we have seen the rule of the square and little bit about opposition. In this video we shall see the main course. So let's get into it. In the previous video we saw when the king does not support the pawn, the first case, and then the second example was when the pawn can promote with the support of the king, which is leading to opposition. So in this video we will learn about this. So this is the position we have in front of us. King and pawn versus king is winning, and also the defending side can easily draw if they know what they are doing. The attacking or the promoting side does not know what they. In this position, the pawn has reached the 6th rank. See, this is the most crucial one, most crucial point, most important point. The pawn which should be promoted is on the 6th rank along with the king. So in this case the pawn is away only 2 steps from queening, but we need to examine the position before deciding whether it is winning or whether it is draw, or losing is not possible. Okay, so obviously you all are maybe thinking to just simply push the pawn, which is the correct move, because this will put white in black in what is known as a zugzwang, which means he wants to sit here. He doesn't want to move and let our king invade and then just queen. He wants to sit here, but he cannot, because it is his move and he should move. He cannot go here, he cannot go here, he cannot go here, he cannot capture the pawn, and the only move is to go away from the queening square. And once he goes away, we don't just simply queen and lose, but we simply protect the queening square with our king, so that the king cannot touch that square, and the king has to leave, and then we promote. So we win the game in this fashion. However, the result changes completely if the position is the same and it is not white to move but black to move. So let's check that out. See, this is the position, but now it was black to move. The king was here in the last position, the previous position, as you can see here, and the king just went here to g8. So now the result completely changed. In the previous position, f7, we played f7 and it was completely winning for white, but now since it was black to move, he just took the opposition. See, this is the opposition when two kings face each other. Opposition is like, you can think of it as a chocolate. Who has it? Only one can have it. See, in this position the kings are staring at each other. Okay, this king is staring at this king is staring at that king. So who has the opposition is the question we need to ask. It depends on whose move it is. So in this move, the king moved, the black king moved, so it's white to move. So the white wants, see, in opposition you want to be staring at opponent's king and seeing it move, but now the black king is seeing our king and we have to move, which means he has the opposition. That is, he has a chocolate, like he can have it, and whoever it has will get their favored result. So in this position we don't want to move and we want it to be his move, but no, it's not his move, it's our move. We are in opposition. See, there are two things. One thing, we have the opposition. Second thing, we are in opposition. Sorry, don't put it that way, just put it we don't have the opposition. In this case we don't have the opposition because we need to give we cannot be staring at the king eye to eye, making him move, but instead we are making the move and he's staring at us. We want to stare at them, we don't want them to stare at us. Kind of relatable. So the king wants to move, the king needs to move. Even if you push the pawn in this case, the king just hides in front of the pawn. In the previous case, the king is in the front of the pawn, but he cannot be there. He just wanted to be there, but he cannot be there because it was his move. But in this case it's not his move, it's our move, and we either have to move our king and give away the pawn, or just simply defend the pawn and stalemate. So even if you try any other move, you just cannot win this, because each and every time he will simply gain the opposition. See, in this position, his king is staring at us, and we have to move again. So we don't want to be in that situation. But if he doesn't know his thing, and simply carelessly goes somewhere like this, we get the opposition, and we are staring at him, saying, "Hey, you move." So wherever he moves, we just simply grab the control of the square, and just simply move the king and just promote the pawn. So it's just all about one move. So this is the second case when it is his move. Now the kings. Let's see another situation. I think you understood the point. There are main points mentioned in the book. I will read them to you. The stronger side must not push the pawn too quickly. See, in both of these positions, the pawn is on the 6th rank. Okay, in both of these positions, the pawn is on the 6th rank. But we don't want it to be that far advanced. We want our king to be in this position and the pawn to be backwards. We will see that later in the later videos. So that is called the king on the 6th rank, which is completely winning for even if it is your move or if it is opponent's move, it's completely winning for you. So we will see that in later videos. We want the king to guide us, like when you are a kid and you go to school. Whom do you want? You want your parent to be with you and be in front of you and guide you. So this is the same situation. This is the pawn is the kid and the king is the parent. The king should guide the pawn, not push him and just simply be at the back. Of course, if there is no one, you can just simply leave him. He will play and he will queen, but there is an opponent king who wants to eat him, so you should be really careful. Alright, so the second thing is, the pawn should only reach the 6th rank in one of these two scenarios. A, its path to promotion is clear. So what this means is, like in the last video, the pawn we pushed to a4, it doesn't have any obstructions to stop it, so it can simply be pushed to the 6th rank or 7th rank, and simply making it a queen. And the second point, B, its advance causes kings to be opposed, but usually this only happens when the king has reached the 6th rank before the pawn. Its advance causes the kings to be opposed. So let us have a look at another position. So see, in this position, what do you do? See, like we discussed before, we need the opposition. In this position, there are the computer suggests two ways to win, but the clear and most straightforward is what we discussed. We want to stare at him and tell him, you only move. So that means we have the opposition and we want to see him move away, which is what he has to do and he needs to do. And we still continue this. See, we still continue opposing the king wherever he goes. If he goes here, he in this case don't just simply push the pawn, it would be a stalemate. So be careful in such cases. See, as I told, bring the king first. Bring the king is the safest option, and then you can just simply move the king away and then push the pawn, as the red carpet is already there. And if he goes here, this position is already reached in the first position. Like the pawn is on 6th rank, the king is beside him, and it's the black king is on the queening square. But whose move it is? It's white to move, and it was winning. So in this case, we made sure that the same position occurs, but with white to move, which means we can just simply push the pawn, and the king is in zugzwang. So the king moves, and then we just simply queen and win. The second point was mentioned, its advance causes the kings to be opposed, which means once you push the pawn, that leads to the opposing of the king. See, as I mentioned, we are getting the opposition here with the king move. So say black has a pawn somewhere over here. Okay, So forget about the pawns, just say the black has a pawn on g6. So once we move here, who has the opposition? We have the opposition. But if black has a pawn here, say he moves it, he just moves it, he doesn't move his king, so he moves the pawn. So now who has the opposition? Black has the opposition, because he is staring at us and saying us to move away. So that's what it is. It's not exactly the case. I mean, we want the pawn to be advanced, and we want us to win and gain the opposition. So I am just simply giving you an example that a pawn push can also change the opposition, change the result of the game, and decide who will have the opposition. Okay, so now let's get into another position. Yeah, so most mistakes are made in king and pawn versus pawn endings, like in this position. The reason is the black king cannot keep the opposition because the pawn controls the f7 square. See, now in this case, who has the opposition? It's black, because he is staring at us and saying us, hey, you move away. So it's black who has the opposition. But if we go here, say we just simply lose the pawn, or if he simply gains the opposition again. Okay, but if we go here, he wants to go to f7, but he can't, because our pawn controls the square, and therefore the only square for him to maintain the opposition is king f7, which he can't play, which means who will have the opposition? No one will have, but he will just simply lose it. Wherever he moves, say he moves there, we move and we gain the opposition. Got it? So if you go to g8, we can gain the opposition. Yes, still works, but without the opposition and giving the opposition to him, loses us the game. So you have to be careful in this move. Opposition is very important, and it is key to winning king and pawn versus king and games. Okay, so we just gain the opposition and say him to move. Just simply kick him away and get in with the king and just simply promote. Okay, so that's the point you have to learn here. Once we get the opposition, we shouldn't lose it. Okay, as I said here, we went here, and once he went here, you shouldn't lose it. If you go here, he will get the opposition and you cannot win. So you should get the opposition, you should maintain the opposition until you bring your king and support the queen square. See, here also we have the opposition. Who has to move here? The black king. Then we win by queening the pawn. So that's the thing. And one last example. This is our last example for today. And now here it's a black to move. So after all we have studied today, where do you want to go? So the king is in check. Okay, so say you go to g1. What are the illegal moves you have? You have king s6, you have king s3, king h1 and king g1. So if you go to say king g1, what does he do? He is just simply gonna push the pawn, and we are in zugzwang. We will just come in with the king and just simply promote. So that's not what we want. If you go to h3, the same thing. The pawn just simply goes, and you are not on the square. You cannot stop. So in this case, the thing that will be useful for us is going to the corner, allowing him to check us again, and here the only move is king g1. Don't go king h2 and just simply allow the king. See, if you are on the defending side, do not allow the king to support the pawn and escort him. So you have to be careful and just simply prevent the king from entering. See, this is the situation we faced earlier. The king either has to give up the pawn or just simply stalemate us. Okay, so this is a simple trick. You have to know this, where to go. And if you go here, this is the same position. If it were black to move, if it were white to move, we would be in trouble. See, this is the position, and if it is black to move, so he will simply put us in zugzwang. Just think of it like we were on f1. The king was on f1. and it's white to move. So who has the opposition? Black has the opposition, and we had to lose the opposition by either moving the king to e1 or g1, and we chose to move to g1, and we just simply lost because of the zugzwang. And then he just simply promoted because he got the same position in the opposition with we discussed, right? The same position. So you should not allow this in this case. This works because this is a knight pawn. Okay, so knight pawn in this position is a draw. You can draw this, but if it were some other pawn, the result might be different. Sorry, the move might be different. The result may be the same because the king is so close and the pawn is on the 6th rank. It should be a draw mostly once the king gains the opposition. I think I will show you one. I will show you how to draw and defend against a pawn, and then I will also show you how to win with a pawn. Okay, so I will play with the computer. Okay, guys, as you can see here, I just set up the position against computer. So now the black has extra pawn and the king is behind the pawn, and we are the defending side. We don't want him to queen. So what do? We try to gain the opposition. So where should we go to gain the opposition? Which means we should stare into the king size, opponent's king size, and then say you move, not me. So this is the square and we are just simply staring at him. See, king g6 is the best. Oh, you can't see it. So now you can see king g6 is the best. Alright, so now what do? What does he want? What does our opponent want? Our opponents want to gain a position. So where do we go? Say we go here. We have how many moves? We have 4 legal moves. If we go here, if we go to h7, the king just simply comes to f7, and who has the opposition? He has the opposition. If we go to f5, the king just comes to f7 and says, hey, you move. So if we go to g5, if say the king comes to f7, and then I can go to f5 saying I have the opposition. So that is the way. See, king h5 is also an alternative. You could also go on the same way. You could have also gone to h5. It's the same thing. Now we take the opposition, as simple as it is. Now the big question is, where do you go? I think both moves draw. Our aim is to stop the pawn from moving. Of course it will move up until the end of the board, but it will simply be stopped. You will see how. We want to get the opposition, we don't want to lose, so we will go to g4. The king wants to come to g6 and say I have the opposition, but no, he has a pawn there, so he cannot say that. And once I move here, wherever the king moves, if the king comes to f6, I just simply go back and say I have the opposition. He's trying his best to make us make a mistake. So now we should just simply stick to our plan and not give him any opposition. Okay, so now after we go here, we attack his pawn. He just simply comes back to defend the pawn, and we repeat the same thing. That's how it is. It's just a draw, and we should not go here and give him opposition. Maybe it is also winning, but why to take any risk? Just simply go back, take the opposition. Uh, uh, we want to get into opposition. If I go here, maybe he will get opposition. So let's just simply avoid it and take no risk, and do the same thing for the rest of the game. Just simply keep on taking the opposition, and once he moves away, wait for him to come forward, and then take the opposition. And yeah, that's it. It's just a simple draw. The computer did not go all the way to the end of the board, but this is just simply the position which will be here. The pawn will be here, the king will be here, and the king will be here, which will be a draw ultimately. Now let's see how can we win with an extra pawn with the correct position. Okay guys, due to some issue I'm using another software. Let's continue. See, here we are black, and we want to gain the opposition. Whatever side we want to gain the opposition, and not rush with pushing the pawn. Okay, so moving the king to f6, we gain the opposition, and the king has to move. And give us way. So let's see what he does. Okay, he just simply moves away. We do the same again. We gain the opposition, we don't lose it. Okay, he just simply moves away. We still continue chasing and trying to maintain the opposition. See, I'm not rushing with pushing my pawn. Okay, so let's get the king first to give safety to the pawn, like uh, as if the pawn is a kid. And see, again I'm maintaining the opposition. Maintaining opposition is great, but at some point you have to like know this thing called outflanking. See, if we want to do opposition here, we have to go to h4, and he will go to g2, and we should go to h4, g4 again, and just simply it feels like we are just simply repeating the moves. So but you have to notice that once the king moved to h2, he gave us the f3 square, which is an important one to support our pawn. Okay, so now we occupy that square. We occupy the square. The king just moved away and it gave us the square. Notice that he will get the opposition, of course. If I go to f3, he will come to h3, and opposition will be his. But the thing is, the red carpet is almost there, so there is no need to worry. The queening square is not yet protected by our king, so would like to do that. So now what moves does he have? He has king g1, he has king h2. I can move the pawn 2 squares, I can move the pawn 1 square. If he moves to g1, I can go to g3 and gain the opposition. If he moves to h2, I can go to f2 and maintain the opposition. So let's push the pawn first. Now the king comes to g1. Okay, just simply let's just maintain the opposition. Don't mess around. Now the king gives us the square. We go in. We just simply push the pawn. The king cannot come out. We just simply push the pawn. Do we? No. It's a stalemate, so we don't push the pawn. So what do we do? Actually, did I mess this up? I don't know. No, I think I did not. We just simply move the king back. Okay, so now the king's got to move somewhere. Alright, now let us again maintain the opposition. The king obviously goes somewhere. And the key is now, this is the key now. We go to g3, give him the opposition, and then we go to h3. He can say I have the opposition, but you will see he didn't go for it, because if he goes to h1, we go g3, he has to come to g1, and we go to g2 and put him in zugzwang. So now we occupy and cover the queening square. Now this is way different, because when the king was on the h file, there were stalemate tricks and traps. So we just made sure that there are no stalemates anymore, and then we just simply go in with the pawn and just simply queen. So that's how you win with a king and pawn versus king, when you can gain the opposition in a right way. Alright, so let me check what the next chapter is. Okay, the next chapter, the 6th rank, the king on the 6th rank, key squares. This is the next Endgame we should study. Today we learned opposition. Okay, so I hope you understood. If there are any corrections, or you want me to make any changes, please suggest in the comments. That's it. Thanks for watching. Meet you in the next Endgame. Thank you.